Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Looney, and today I am green on the day. I want to get into what I did today, locking in put gains, rolling covered calls, closing positions, and even opening up a new trade. We're going to break it all down. But before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to the Discord. It is free to join. And then I also offer a premium membership or premium perks that gives you access to my one-on-one coaching, my trade callouts that we're going to go over today. I do giveaways. I have an option selling course. You can check it out. All the links to that are in the description. But yes, let's look at today's moves. We're going to recap everything. So I'm up 1.2% or $600. And if we go to my options, on the day, I am down almost 1,000. And that's because I had to roll, and my covered calls in general are in the money. They're deep in the money on SoFi, Riot, and now even Mara is becoming in the money because it jumped up 13%. So these $17 calls are now in the money. But as of today, what plays I made for the covered calls is I rolled. So let me try and find that cover call that I did roll. And that's this one, this $11 call. And it was going to expire this Thursday, and I decided to do it today just because that the shorter week and the markets close early on that Thursday. So I wanted to get filled right away, and that's why I rolled it. So I rolled it to the 15th of August, another month out, or a little bit more than a month, and I went up one strike price. So if you go down to here, we could see I had to pay $63, and it says realized loss of $478. Now, that's just because I had to close it. So to close this $10 call, it was a loss. But now if I close this $11 call, it is only a loss of that $60. So that 400 realized loss isn't actually coming out of my pocket. What really is coming out of my pocket is that 63. So to roll this, I paid $63. And that's okay with me because I want to hold Riot, and I think selling at $11 is not the best. I want to get up to $12 possibly to sell my shares. And right now my break even is 12.64. So if Riot stays below 12.64, I might just end up letting some of these shares let go and just stacking up cash. Now, there are some plays that I actually had to realize a loss that I'm not too proud of. This week, this realized loss, I'm down 625. And that's because I had to close a few credit spreads. And I closed one today for SoFi just because I felt that it's pretty unlikely that SoFi goes back to 16.5 by next week or 2 weeks. And if it does, yes, I missed out on making a gain. But in case it doesn't, I didn't want to lose the full loss of $90. So I'm only losing 66. And that was one. Let's see another one that I closed. We'll get into those puts, but right, we have another one that I closed today for a loss, minus 65, another 66. So about $200 of loss on the credit spreads. And that's something I can't really manage. I can't really roll. I mean, you can roll, but it's a little bit more complicated, and I'd rather just close it for a slight loss. Now, if you notice, my buying power has increased to 10,000. And that's because I closed a lot of my puts. If we go to Mara, I had almost 7,000 locked up in cash collateral, and I closed a ton today just to get that cash free, and my puts were had such little delta that they pretty much appreciated all their value. If we go to my options, go to realized gains, and we go to Mara on the week, I'm up 200. So it's all because of these puts. I closed 3 today for a pretty good gain, and then a few earlier this week or last week for another game. But total up $200 this week, and I could use that cash for whatever. Right now I have it sitting there waiting for a opportunity. And that's what I want to get into my next thing, because there isn't many opportunities right now. We have Robinhood going up to $100 at one point. I'm not even sure if it's at that anymore. It's at 95. I'm just simply dollar cost averaging another beginner level strategy, just putting a little bit in, and I'm already up 84% or 138 just by putting $2 a day. So very beginner friendly. And that one's up. So overall, there's not too many opportunities. We saw crypto fly high today, up 5%. And yeah, because of that, I'm trying to look for an opportunity. And that's where Oscar comes into play. So let me pull up Oscar right now. This is kind of all the talk over FinX, and just overall, there was a lot of hype around it. And today it dropped 18%. After hours, it's a little bit up. And that's just because of Barclays downgraded to a underweight, and it's citing rising policy risk, subsidiary uncertainty, and sector-wide pressure from Centene's pulled guidance. So we could see that Oscar was negatively affected by this news, and you can even read upon it here. It goes on what I was just discussing, the guidance withdrawal. And after this drop, I knew Oscar was waiting to pop, and just some sort of news was going to cause it to fall. And that's because it ran up so much from that $12 mark, and it's up to 22. And today it dropped 18%. And because of that, I decided to sell a $15 put and collected a pretty large premium of $85. And we'll see where this ends up during the expiration. I have expiring on the 1st, and I think the earnings are after that, so it's not going to be of concern with that. And really, I took this is because there isn't too many opportunities, and this is probably one of the better opportunities. And that doesn't mean that you should be doing this trade. I'm doing it for myself, and I think this is a good opportunity for myself and my portfolio, rather than just sitting in cash and having 11,000. So I'm only putting 1,000. If it does go below 15 and I get acquired these shares, I'll simply sell another put, or I will sell cover calls at a strike price that is above 15 and then sell off these shares, doing the wheel strategy. And that's what I usually do with a lot of my stocks. Recently, I've been just holding, not trying to sell them off, but there are a few stocks that I'm trying to sell off, like NEO is another one that if it does go above my strike price, I'm okay with selling off these shares. So this is a new position on my portfolio. I'm not sure if I want to have it as a long-term position. It's pretty similar to HIMS, but overall, seeing this stock drop 20%, me and myself, I'm a pretty risky investor. So any opportunity like this, I try to capitalize. And I could have done it at a better time. I could have got $14 put. But at the time when I was doing the trade, the other puts weren't even available. So these ones were showing up as 0. And that's why I chose that $15 put. Otherwise, I would have went down to that $14 and did a lot lower delta and just less risk. But overall, my count is sitting at 52.7K. My goal was to reach 50K by end of year, and I'm already surpassing that, and this is the middle of the year. And you might be thinking why I have so much cash just stacked up. And that's just because I feel the market is a little too overbought and it's running a little too hot. That doesn't mean it can't continue, but I think I want to wait for a better opportunity to get involved. And also, I am involved. So if the market keeps running up, I'm not really missing out too much because I do have 40K in investments. But I just pulled up VIX before there. It was at that 16 mark. If it goes below 15, we are looking at pretty greed, or there should be greed in the market. And usually when that happens, we're due for some sort of pullback. And I'm not sure when the pullback is going to happen. We might see crypto run up even further just because of the money supply has been rising. And that's a really big indicator to look at where Bitcoin is heading and crypto in general is heading. But overall, this past week, we are up 2%. And I'm in a good spot where I feel that I have cash available for a downturn. I have a lot of cover calls for a downturn. I capitalized on a put sell on Oscar. And if it does go wrong, I could continue to dollar cost average down by selling puts at lower strikes, like at that $14 or even $12 at some point. But if you enjoy this type of video and you want more breakdowns, check out the free Discord. And then I also offer the premium version. That is $8 a month. And then I have some other payment options. You could check it out. All the links to that are in the description. Until next time.